Personal. Thank you. And welcome to session 5 of Transformative Grant Writing, your empowering moment, your empowering tool of community to start materializing your vision and keep growing. Our program goals, our goals are to support you in getting clarity of your artistic practice and the specific project that you are focusing on. Número dos, to develop your grant writing skills and provide a deep understanding of the funding and development ecosystem in the arts. Número tres, to file a competitive application for the Individual Artist Fellowship with the California Arts Council. And as always, we just love to reiterate that the grant is a canvas for you to get clarity on your vision and how to identify the resources necessary to bring this vision to reality, to physical reality, as we were talking last week. Our specific goals for today, we're going to be reviewing the social impact and the community impact of your process, of your grant. We're going to review some of your guys' resume. We're going to get some comments about how it is aligned to your narrative. We're going to check in on your personal impact. Basically, we're going to clarify these 3 kinds of impacts. We're going to showcase your work samples, and potentially we're going to just share a glossary of grant-related words. And with that, we go to your the first part, which is the difference between the different the impact that your grant will have. Let me, before I get into this particular part, it is important for me that we have that we look at the application, the actual application. Application template. Cohort 8. Here it is. So, as we've been saying in the past few weeks, this is how it looks like, the application. And we're gonna have your artist narrative, which most of you guys are working on it. Your work samples, and then we go to the part when they are asking about the impact that getting this grant will have for you, for your community, for society. First one is personal impact. We reviewed it already. We were talking about.
I have a really. I don't know if you can hear me, but I have a really bad. Can you hear that? Does anyone else hear that?
Oh yeah, what is that?
I'm gonna drop out. Can you get me back into the chat? I'm just gonna drop. I'm gonna drop out of the screen sharing. Can you get me back in there?
Yeah.
All right. Give me 1 sec.
Does everybody else hear that?
Okay. I don't know. Something wrong with my. Sorry, I got it.
Thank
All
you
right.
for
I'm sorry. All right. It was my mic. Oh Jesus! What the hell is that? Sorry.
Don't worry. Okay, so as I was saying, we have first the personal impact, next we have the community impact, and finally we have the social impact. That's it for this grant, for this particular grant. But it does encompass a lot of things, and that is why I created that this slide, because I wanna get deeper into what it means. So last week we became clear that your personal impact is compounded by the personal aspect of yourself, of your life, which means what will this change in your life, right? Like, how would your life change practically through getting these funds? I am going to be able to pay for my rent. I will be able to pay for the working space that I need. get stability in, even for a little bit in my housing, in my bills. It's like the practical effect of getting $5,000 or $10,000. The second level is your artistic, the artistic impact of the grant. Basically, how will your work be better than your projects before, or how is this money going to empower your vision to create artistically? Oh, in the past, I have been utilizing recycled and gifted materials. This time around, I will be able to invest in high quality materials, which will result in a better quality product, for example, right? The final one is, where do you go? What is the impact in your practice as an artist? Not only what is that you're going to do with this, but what will happen in your practice after you achieve this, after you get this grant. What is important is how to measure this, right? Can you guys tell me a couple of ideas that come to mind? How will you
measure these impacts, these three impacts?
Well, you mentioned rent and personal impact. I mean, that's measurable. Rent for your apartment, rent for your studio space. Um, those are, I mean, they come to mind right away as being measurable things.
Beautiful.
What else? I don't know. That's all I can think of right now. But
all right, that's great. That's great. Anyone else? Artistic or artistic impact or impact on your practice?
I can go. So the first one, the financial impact, definitely will be cost of living. Covering that first and foremost. And second off, like being able to pay myself for the work created, the creative work put on, and the hours and the labor behind it. And then on the artistic impact, it's well, for me, it will be giving back to the community through the arts, through the projects, and being able to as well provide a space for other artists to come in and present their work and create together. Another thing, my artistic impact personally in my projects is being able to do my own research of my own homeland, which is a culture that I teach. And then being able to spread it and expand in different layouts and communities and places, without necessarily just being my own culture.
Totally. That is super powerful. That thing that you mentioned, Dianita, this is, of course, like I will become a better artist via having access to the information, right? Having access to not the information, but the culture directly, right? And also, on a more personal level, what does it mean for you to, take this money, use this money to support you traveling to Nicaragua and reconnecting, and like just all of those are powerful notions of this person will do great things with this grant. Thank you so much. That was brilliant. That is brilliant. Yes, and the reason that I wanted to have it laid out like this is because it can become a little confusing, right? So many impacts, but every one thing has its own lane. And that is exactly why I wanted to put it like this. Your community impact is more related to the people that will be collaborating with it, the people that will be that will have direct access to your project, the specific communities that will come and benefit from it. I use this term here, who are the stakeholders? And this is a very important term for you guys to know, because there's a lot about stakeholders that will come up in the future. And stakeholders is anyone that has a stake in this project. What does it mean? Anyone that will contribute, that will collaborate, that will benefit, that will, you know, let me give you an example. Carnaval, the Carnaval San Francisco, right? There's a big parade, everybody comes out, people, you know, flood to the streets, there's a big parade. What do you think happens in the local businesses that day? What do you think it happens in the gift stores, in the restaurants, in the bars, in the tienditas, right, in the grocery stores? Of course, they, you know, benefit. Of course, there is an influx of money and economy. So the people who have businesses around Carnaval, they are stakeholders, right? So given that this is a large ecosystem of stakeholders, you know, like it's basically everything, you know, think about it in terms of an ecosystem, right? Anything that feeds from it, anything that benefits from it, anything that collaborates is part of the people in this universe called the stakeholders. And what they are asking you is, what is the impact? I see you, Nefertiti. I'll go to you in a minute. So given that there is all of this potential for collaboration, for impact in your community, in your local community, what is the one that you would like to focus? Because you only had 300 words, right? When we're talking about, for this specific grant, I want you to focus a lot on the people that will benefit directly from it, right? Organizations, collaborations. This is a very good way to ground your project in reality. Like, have you talked to your neighbors about you doing this project? Have you talked to some organization around getting their support for it? Nefertiti, you had a question or comment?
Yeah, it might be addressed as you continue to talk, but when thinking about the impact, for the personal impact, so about your practice and how it's better than your projects, I just had a question on if there is kind of like standard like items that people use to show a measure for those things, because I feel like it can get kind of all over the place. I don't know if there's like specific kind of, if that makes sense, like ways to describe that are often used when people are talking about their personal impact.
That's an amazing question.
I wanted to add, that's exactly what I was feeling. Like, I feel like there's so many different things that I pull from my own personal experience. And it gives me a loose idea of the demographic, but it also makes it more complicated on how to word that, or how to be inclusive but not exclusive for the social impact page.
Yeah. This is great. So I think there are two avenues, or two steps rather, because they might be complementary. The first thing is the nature, the root of this question is that they want to see how close are you to the ground, how close are you to the needs that you are trying to serve, right? But we're not. But this particular question is not in the general, in the abstract, in the contextual, like historic context. It's more about, you know, like I am going to be supporting kids, for example, in the case of Dustin, I am going to create a program to teach kids. This program will be hosted by this organization. And you can play with the numbers. That's the thing. Like the first thing is like to put it in a context. I'm gonna host this project in the I don't know, the cultural center, the community cultural center. This community cultural center serves majority something, right? Like, and that is very measurable. That this space will have their measurements. Or, for example, you can say, I am going to collaborate with such and such and such artists. All of them combined have 60 years of experience in the field of music, production, and communications. In your case, Nefertiti, it's, you know, you know, we're trying to bring to create this event ceremony, and we are going to be locating it in the neighborhood of I don't know, in this specific neighborhood, which consists of and you can include the demographics, right? Which is mostly BIPOC people, or even further, you can say we're trying to outreach to the community of my city or my county. In the last census, the last census showed that about 10,000 people have Brazilian roots, for example, right? Or are practitioners of this tradition, and this would be a space for them, right? So if you look at it, I agree that it could be easy to get lost on the people that you're trying to benefit, rather, right? Or the people that you're trying to collaborate with. You know, for my project, I will be partnering up with a station that provides services to veterans or to you know, houseless people. In the last year, they served around, you know, 3,000 people. So that is a good way for them to say, oh, okay, so there is a universe of 3,000 people that could potentially be served by this project. Is that clear? Yeah.
Yes, I feel like that's clear when thinking about community. All my work will be better than past projects, for example. Am I going to frame it within this piece around being more connected to community, or do I talk about the actual method of my practice, or do I do both? That's kind of what I was.
Oh,
does that make sense?
Yeah. But you're referring particularly about your artistic practice, correct?
Yes.
This baby right here. Okay.
Yeah. And then the second one, where do you go in terms of how you connect to community? Or is it, where do you go in terms of the methodology of your action?
So let's take this space, this ceremony, this thing, I will be able to continue creating space that gather community in an authentic way, right? As of right now, I am not a very known for this practice. But after this happens and people come to the space and they realize that, you know, this is based on the real deal, on you know, that we're not commodifying the culture, that we're not, you know, people will feel more willing and happy to come out. So I am going to be able to access better spaces, access more artists, and more funding. An important part that you should include in this part of your practice is having the backing of the California Arts Council counts, right? After being a fellow from the California Arts Council, I am going to be able to access, new resources, more partnerships, more media outlets, more artists that would like to collaborate with me, because that comes in with, with perks. Just knowing that you are one of the fellows that was funded, it makes a difference. Does that answer your question?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. So before we go to social impact, I want to take a couple of minutes. That's probably going to be like 3 minutes to write about your community impact. It doesn't have to be the final version of it. It can just be, what is that you know so far? Do you know who are you going to collaborate with? Do you know what is the communities that you're serving? Do you know where are you going to host the project? So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to get to writing about that, and we will come back. Okay. Therese, could you pause the recording?
Yes, give me a second.
Thank you.
Be kind of covering, or is it just, I just want to be clear about that, question that I don't know if I transfer it perfectly or not.
No. I understand clearly. I love this question. I super love this question because man, that's a very, let me try to summarize my thinking around this. There is an appeal to wokeism, right? Like there is, we see it. The perfect example is the Democratic Party. Hey, we continue to do these horrible things, but they're made by people of color, they're made by women, and we believe that is the way in which, like we just check the boxes, just check the boxes, right? And that is so far apart from actually getting to the root of things. Because we can say, hey, I'm gonna work just with my community. That doesn't solve the issue, right? That doesn't really get to the heart of why people are suffering systemically, historically. One of the things that we did in the planning or the development of the identity of the Arts Collab, we mentioned this phrase: Arts Collab is a BIPOC-centered space where everybody is welcome, right? It means that we're seeking certain communities, but it doesn't mean that people outside of those communities aren't welcome. So
I think that's very important.
Yeah, what comes to you? What comes up for you?
I think if I want to spread the word of equality and equity, or whatever name we put, as long as we just separate our, like we kind of like advertising the the inequality by focusing on just, like a number of people, or like, you know, as a specific, like, you know, group of people. I don't think that serves the goal of, you know, creating that
Collective
kind of
liberation.
space. Yeah, collective, exactly. So that's one of my problem when I'm writing, you know, this proposal, that I want to include and welcome everyone, like, you know, LGBT, everyone from every community. But why I should, like, you know, limit people for, if I see that as a collective, you know, works and workshops, I want everyone to be included.
So, let me say this, and let it be known. Oh my God, thank you so much for that question. Let it be known that here in the Arts Collab, we're not trying to create woke art. We're not trying to empower woke artists just for the sake of we are minorities. That actually keeps the person, the community, in the victim seat.
Yeah.
That doesn't empower. You should support me because I'm suffering. You should support me because I'm suffering. No, you should support me because we're organizing to do this shit so that we can, you know, thrive. And when we're talking about thriving, and when we're talking about genuine collective liberation, we're not trying to leave anyone behind, right? However, I must say that for the practical ends of your project, it does work to have a central focus, right?
Yeah.
So again, it means my central focus is this community, but everyone is welcome.
Okay,
right?
I got it. Yeah.
Just because when you say I am going to try to outreach to everybody, it becomes a little unrealistic.
Yeah.
That you're gonna have the resources to actually bring your message out to everybody in the world, right? So that is why when you're focusing on a specific, when you have a specific focus, it empowers your vision to make it more doable, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect.
Guys,
I got a question. What if you created, like, I know how like Nefertiti mentioned about like doing the research on the data, but what if you do like your own surveys? Does that work as well too?
That works plenty. That will work better for community impact than social impact, just because again, in community impact, we're trying to center in the ground, like the woman in the corner, like that lives in the corner, she will come to the show, right? In the social, we say, oh, this is going to be it's important to create safe spaces for people to come to feel welcome, to nurture the social fabric of society. It's the same, but said in a different, in a different way, with different lens. All right. We're gonna take a quick break at this point. Thank you so much for all of your participation, for your questions. I can see you guys ticking and writing and just getting clarity around your vision and your project. So it makes me deeply happy. I would love to let you know, we would love to let you know that we're putting together our first in-person event ever in the world. So we are seeking now a venue. Originally, we had planned to host it on April 2nd. As of right now, we're basically just looking for a venue. So it looks like that date is going to be moving. And we would like to take Cohort 8 as our, cohort of the moment, and try to give you more notoriety and more space, and to allow you to come and support as well as volunteers, to bring your art, etc., etc. So if you have any questions, we sent you guys an email a couple of weeks ago, but if you are interested, please reach out to me, please reach out to Therese. Again, you know that our vision is very collaborative and very collective. So it really, the final result, the final event is going to look like however we can as a community put together. And shall we like 2 minute bio break? Therese?
Yeah, and then when we come back, we're gonna have presentations. And
All
if
right,
you need a couple more minutes, take it, but we're gonna start at 35.
all right, 3-minute bio break, 2-minute bio break, come back with 1 minute. And yeah, get ready for your fellow artists to kill it in the game. Okay, we'll be right back.
I've packed up and leave. I've spoken with violence. I've lied through my teeth, broken your trust, acted from lust, had thoughts in my mind you wouldn't believe. Say what I say. I've been lost and depraved from the womb to the grave. What would my mama say? How I've been a man, how I found it so wrong. I said I'd be better, but I waited too long. I've acted from privilege, both conscious and blind, hurting my mother, hurting my brother, hurting my sister. These are the times I once believed I was in deception, but believe you and me, all my work isn't done. On to the bed, don't cry, stand up, be a man, get tough, make money, get laid, work hard, be a slave to the lies and the state culture of rape. Don't give, just take. Don't you ever be gay.
And we are back. I am now passing the baton to Therese.
Hello, folks. I'm so happy to be here with you guys tonight. We are going to be doing a couple things during the second half. The first thing is having some presentation by our artist, our lovely artist. First up is Bismuth, followed by Radu, followed by Diana. And I would encourage you to, in between artists, chime in and let them know, how you feel about what they're up to. So with that said, I would love to pass the floor to Bisma. And do they have sharing ability? Arturo?
They would, let me see.
So I can start sharing. Sweet.
Yay.
There's
All right. Thank you, Bisma. You are up, and you please set your timer and rock and roll.
all right, sounds good. Hi, everybody. My name is Bisma. I go by they, them pronouns. And I am a cultural Ayurveda practitioner. So I work to cultivate plant medicine. I do traditional henna and mehndi designs, as well as dabble in embroidery and wellness nourishment. I'm also a candle and soap maker, a dreamer, a dirt lover, and a budding herbalist. I'm a spiritual wayfinder and an incredibly heart-centered community medicine maker who's ready to serve the people. And I have offered my oils, toners, and services in art bazaars, local tenderloin flea markets, and through social media currently. I believe in the power of accessibility, education, and giving people the tools to cultivate wellness themselves. And so I hope to eventually support the cultivation of a intergenerational collaborative of a freedom school that focuses on plant medicine and community wellness, and teaching that to both youth as well as elders in our community. Yeah, and so I have an Etsy shop, so I put the link for that as well. And I'm currently on Facebook and Instagram too. All right. Oh, okay, so current projects. So the biggest thing I was working on prior to joining Arts Collab was actually cultivating an online presence. So I'm currently in the process of making video reels that show the different process of like candle and soap making, as well as embroidery, so that it becomes knowledge that other people can use to cultivate wellness in their daily lives as well. And so I'm specifically using social media to try and gain a lot of that, that video experience, as well as having it translate into future, maybe even class materials for freedom schools as well. I'm also just figuring out my own artistic identity and confidence. And I feel like Art Collab has been such an amazing space for that. And being able to name what the cultural value of my work, as well as just the love that I am pouring behind it, and to share that vision with more people in these spaces. I'm also in the process of launching a bunch of new herbal products. I'm in the process of cultivating my own lip balm recipes. I'm currently working on a matcha hemp facial soap recipe. And connected to the online presence again, just making more knowledge drops or ways to make that information accessible to folks. And I have upcoming vending events. I'll share a little bit more about an upcoming one at the end of the presentation, but yeah, so some exciting projects is that I'm taking up vending opportunities. And April is also going to be the start of Ramadan, which is a very spiritual month for Muslim folks. And so there's going to be a lot of spiritual and wellness preparation that I will be starting and hoping to share on my Bazaar account as well. And just wanted to give a sample of some of my products as an Ayurvedic herbalist. So my favorite product to share is the black seed oil. This is one of those cultural recipes that have been passed down from generation to generation and is known to have a cure to everything except death. And is often the dietary supplement, as well as the topical ointment that I make myself. And most people, when they come to my bazaar, this is the product they leave with, and this is the product they come back for, because it tends to positively impact people's lives in some way. And then I gave some photos of my embroidery projects, as well as my first candle that I made. And so just wanted to show that this is part of the process of what I'm planning to share in these spaces. And then how to support me. At the current moment, I just need time. I'm going through a lot of transitions right now. And so just wanting to be realistic and honest about my capacity has been incredibly strained. And so it's just going to take me a lot of time to reach back out. So it doesn't mean I don't like you, it just means that I'm overwhelmed right now. But I would love for vending plugins and future opportunities, as well as just like a share or a follow on social media or on Etsy. Support I can give. I can also, of course, share, promote on my own social media as well as social circles. I can also help folks cultivate their own skincare routine. If you want any sort of body or wellness consultation, or if you want to organize like a mutual aid swap, I'm all up for game. I love bartering. I love finding ways to equitably give back to artists. So always looking for skillful collaborations that way. Yeah. And then lastly, I just wanted to give a shameless plug. I will be at Headprint House on this Saturday from 3 to 7 p.m. I will be doing henna on the spot for folks who come by, as well as just having some of my oils, candles, and painted pieces ready for people to observe, or at least take informational cards if they wanted to learn how to make them themselves. But yeah, really hope that you could possibly join if you're free on Saturday. But that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love this presentation. That's hella next level and authentic.
Thank you.
Please chime in, folks.
Come vend at the speakeasy events that I do.
I
There's
would
a-
love to. Oh my God, speakeasy.
There's the next one. The next one that I'm doing is April 23rd, and then the week before I'm doing another one at La Raza Park in the Mission.
Ooh.
So let's connect you in. I want to introduce you to the folks that organize all the vendors. I'd love to tap you in.
Yeah, I'd love that. Thank you so much, Jesse.
Mhm.
It's good we swap phone numbers at the start.
All right, for sure.
I just want to name that the event that Visma is going to participate on this upcoming Saturday is co-produced by a former alumni of the Arts Collab, Blaine. And we were just talking about that. And I was so happy to know that these connections are happening. You see, there's a lot that happens even when you don't know it
So
until you know it.
Yeah, Blaine just messaged me and was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were in Arts Collab." It was so cool.
Thank you so much. Radu to the stage. Take it to the bridge.
Sorry. All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Bisma, for that beautiful presentation. I want to apologize beforehand because I'm not nearly as organized as she is right now.
Don't start with an apology, Radu.
I just
Sorry, never start with a presentation.
Full disclosure. Full disclosure. And really quick, it looks like there was a format. So, and I missed last session, and I've been really busy. I'm trying to keep up with everything that we're doing in the group. But Arturo and Momo, feel free to chime in. In terms of direction format, if there's anywhere I need to go. But I'm gonna do my best to just follow Bisma's lead. Well, I'm a musician and an educator here in San Francisco. Um, my project that I'm writing the grant for, and I would like as much input on this as possible from the group. Um, I am trying to get a grant, basically just to help fund my first solo album, which will basically allow me to take care of my everyday needs better. I want to get this album out, but I don't want to go broke doing it. Um, so that's generally what my project is. Um, I don't know. I've been a musician for over 20 years. I've co-written a bunch of stuff with people. I've recorded, I've toured, I've done all that stuff. Um, and this is my first solo album, and yeah, that's generally what I'm doing. I'm involved in other projects that I saw that Bisma listed some of the other things she's doing. Um, let me start with this. Let me start with generally like what I do when I'm not teaching. So, am I on screen share? No, right? Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. All right. So, this is one of the things I do in San Francisco. This is why I don't want to leave. I could, I do want, I want this funding so I can keep, it's for the album, but it's so I can keep doing stuff like this. This is one of the things I do in the city. I do these music classes around the city for basically preschoolers, and I introduce them to music. I do really basic music theory with them, and I get them interested early because they're going to be inundated with all of the left brain minutia shit of life and whatever other goals and expectations that are put on us at an early age. So part of my goal with this project that I've been doing for years is to make sure these kids fall in love with music, fall in love with it hard, and know that there are people out there doing it. And they're not surrounded by people. And I mean, more power to all the, whoever parents, whoever who are making it work and making ends meet. But um, I try to provide something where it's like music is viable, it's fun, and it's important. So that's part of what this project's about. The other thing I do is this is my lessons sort of. I call it SF Guitar Academy, and it's kind of the same thing but for adults. Obviously, it helps me make money, but I'm also in this grind out world. A lot of adults come to me saying, I wish I never gave up music. I wish, all this stuff about being an artist. And part aside from the practical financial aspects of teaching and having this this kind of side gig going, I help people like not go crazy. I think all artists do and all healers, um, and a lot of my students ironically are techies, which are like kind of, I don't want to say destroying the city, I guess. I mean, there's whatever. I don't want to put any judgment on it. But ironically, a lot of my students are techies who come to me and they're like, I hate my life. I hate my job. I hate what's going on. I used to play when I was, whatever, 15, and I quit to blah, 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 blah. And I need this in my life. So this is part of this, one of the things that I do. Um, and like I said, aside from the practical aspects of it, overall, I'm sick of watching the arts, you know, uh, be in the back seat, in society in general, and it's specifically in San Francisco. I'm sick of watching it like dwindle and kind of have to be shuffled off into corners, and I'm just tired of that shit. So this is this is part of what I do to like keep myself sane and people who work with me to keep them sane.
Radu, can you go on to what you um, use some support with and communicate your current things up?
Use some support. Okay, yeah. Specifically, I've been working with our tour with this. I have a lot of different grant ideas. I came to this workshop with one in particular, with the idea of trying to stay firm with it, which is getting grant money for my music. Um, but Nefertiti, asked a good question earlier about the cultural. I think it was the cultural equity piece. If there's any way that anyone in the group can help me sort of what's the word, sort of distill what just the importance of arts in general. I mean, I'll have my own stories and stuff, but um, I'm struggling with coming up with a narrative that is more than I'm an artist. Stop shitting on artists. You need to take care of us if you're, and if you want this city to remain what it has been for decades, you got to take care of us. Um, if anyone can help distill that story a little bit, if you have any ideas, I would love to hear it. I'm going to tell my own personal story and my own take on that narrative, but I'm sure everybody here has thought about this to some degree or other. And if you can help me with that, that'd be great because I'm having trouble with like, the social impact piece of my writing. I have some general stuff, but any input on powerful um, insight. And granted, I know you guys don't know my own personal story and how I might be telling my story. Anyway, that would probably be the absolute best way to help me. The other thing is, I do like to collaborate. So, I'm running these basically these little businesses, and I'm a full time artist outside of this. I'm always collaborating with different organizations and people for different causes. I'm up for collaborating. So if there's a skill that I can offer probably in the music realm, but I'm good at organizing too. I would love to be a part of that. And if you see me as a fit for anything that you're doing, I just want to be a part of change and some freshness in the city. And yeah, that's probably where two places I can use the most help.
Awesome, Rob. Thank you so much for bringing the cohort. What you're up to.
Yeah.
I have a request for you to drop your email into the chat and to give us two sentences that you want to support with. One is why support the arts, and what was the other one?
Sorry, you're
Radu,
breaking up. Can you
there
say
is
that again, Mo? You're breaking up a little bit.
you have that echo
Oh shit.
in your Zoom, Radu.
Damn. Okay, go ahead.
Check, baby. 1, 2, 3. All right. So your ask is amazing, and I want to support you in giving us an opportunity to support you by dropping your email in the chat
Yeah.
and I want to just make sure that you share on what you want. Share a
Oh,
paragraph.
sorry. What was the second part?
Share what you want, and if I understood you correctly, you want us to send you like a paragraph of why the arts are important.
Yeah. How to communicate that in an effective way. Yeah.
Okay. And then the second one is what was the second one?
To keep me in mind for any collaborations where I can be of benefit, and I will do the same.
So if you could just drop those two things in the chat along with your email, that will give us an increased opportunity to follow up with you. Thank you so much. Folks, you want to chime in at all? Give some love to our brother Radu. Radu, thank you for just putting it out there so clearly and willing to be like, y'all, we're in this together. I don't have all the answers. Maybe you've got some ideas. So thank you for putting that out to the cohort and the universe in general.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else want to sprinkle some love toward Radu or chime in before we move on to our final artist of the evening?
I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed the work that you're doing, that you shared tonight. It's definitely impactful and powerful, brother. Like the stuff that you're using or doing with the young people is amazing. They're going to remember that forever and ever. But more so, the impact that you're doing with the adults. And as many folks over here said, techies or not, they're people, and music does change lives, whether you're listening to it or playing it or being very persistent about learning it. It really, it helps. And so what you're doing is really helpful and impactful to those people. Continue doing that work, brother. It's powerful, and the world needs it. The people need it, and the techies need it. So we can complain about them, but we need to help them out too. So you're doing amazing work. Keep it up, brother. Like, give it all the energy. And I can't wait to see your visual work. And I'd love to I'd like to hear some of your music. Maybe we can collaborate on we have a space. So maybe you can come over and lead some classes at the space. But we could talk about that offline. But great work, bro. Great hearing from you.
Appreciate it, Joe. I really appreciate it. Okay, man. I'll definitely communicate with you in the chat or wherever. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Radu. And Deanna, you have the floor. And let us know if any kind of support you need with loading your slides.
Yes, I have three. Okay. Let me see how I can do, because I was using my computer while let me see. Give me 1 second. Is everybody just sharing screen? Is that what everybody's doing?
Share the screen in the middle, and then if you, I'll be your.
It's because I'm on my phone. I'm not on my computer. I'm using my computer while I'm on my phone on the Zoom meeting.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and set your timer whenever you start sharing your screen.
Okay.
And just for support, if you want to send us the link, I don't know what, how is your presentation, but we can run your presentation for you if you need to.
Okay, let me do this here. How do I flip this camera? Oh, here we go. All right. Okay. You guys see that?
Yeah, but you know what? If you can you send me your slides, because those are so beautiful. I would love for you to be able to just have more relaxation as you do your can you share over your slides with me or Arturo?
Here. I can't share them because I don't canvas, but let me go ahead and disconnect and then come back in through my computer, and then I can share them that way.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
great.
Great. Be right back.
Those are beautiful. That's a beautiful presentation. I want you to get.
Thank you.
Mama wants you to have a full shake. Can you pause this for a minute, Arturo?
Pause the time and space.
No.
I got it.
All right.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Diana Maria Augusto Vega, and part of the reasons why I am I'm gonna start with like sharing why am I using my full name, which is something that we don't, I guess, I don't experience that a lot. And it's because name is identity. And coming into this new lifestyle that I've had for the last 12 years as an immigrant, undocumented artist in this country has been identity. And it starts by my name. Here, I am either Diana Hurto, or I'm either Diana Hurto Vega, or I'm either Diana Hurto wrongly spelled. So this is how we are presented as a Latina Nicaraguan creative artist with two names and two last names. So I am a dancer, choreographer, visionary artist. I'm a collective artist as well. And then I have a wide range of knowledge in the Afro-diaspora disciplines. I consider myself a cultural leader in the Nicaraguan community and an educator as well. I'm a woman of flesh and blood. Okay. Can you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I can't hear. We can't hear.
Diana?
Yeah.
So if you go to that green, go to the bar that you have, there's a green bar around your screen.
Mm-hmm.
And then click again on the share screen button.
Oh, advanced.
Yeah,
audio.
don't go to advanced. You can go, once you click on that, in the bottom left corner, there are two little squares. You click on those two. Share sound and graphics, something like that.
Computer audio? No.
Share computer audio, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
Okay, so before you guys watch this, let me talk about it a little bit. This is normal fashion thing. This is my essence, and I put it in Spanish, mi esencia, because I didn't know how to spell essence in English. The struggle is real. I have been a creative dance director for this nonprofit organization that provides humanitarian aid to people in Nicaragua. And so we are called Chavalos de aquí y de allá. Chavalos is a very Nicaraguan word. It's a lingo that we use to call a little boy or a little person, like chavalo or chavala, because unfortunately Spanish is very gendered. We already know that. Or
you share slides with us?
I'm sorry?
Do you want us to be seeing your slides right now?
No, I see it? Are you guys seeing it?
If you don't mind sharing your screen again, that would be great.
Oh. Sorry.
Let me support you here. There you go.
Thank you.
Nope. Nope. Yes. Okay. Now go again. Click on the green button. Okay. Once you click on that green button, in the bottom left corner, there is a space that reads share sound. That's where you want to click. And then share.
All right.
Perfect.
Can you guys hear it
Beautiful.
now?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Okay, so anyways, this is the organization that I'm part of and that I have been doing creative artistry with and directing our own productions of a play called Huehuense. Part of we've been doing this for the last 10 years now, and we have been able to create a cultural program for youth and adults, any ages, and as well allow a more global space and artist exchange with my fellow colleagues from Nicaragua, because I was born and raised there. So we have done artist exchange where different artists that are Nicaraguans in different parts of the world have come together for this event. So. This is our national music instrument. It's a wooden piano. That I have always experienced in the events that we've had is that we bring a little bit of home to anybody and I remember that I came to visit San Francisco once and I just fell in love with how diverse it was, and it just felt a little closer to home. If there is one thing that I have dealt with ever since I left my country, it has been homesickness, and finding a home, and it has always been kind of like my target of what to look for everywhere I go. Even if it's a new apartment where I'm moving or a new relationship that I'm starting, just always finding that sentiment of home is what I always search for. This is part of the youth program that we have created along with Mission Cultural Center. Eric, he is the president and CEO of the Chavalos, the nonprofit.
and we got to talking, and we got acquainted right away. Sort of my mission and my way to feel closer to home, to spread Nicaraguan culture as an education way as well, and making sure that the Nicaraguan community is one way or another seen and noticed and known in San Francisco.
So yeah. Here is a part of the projects that I do. This is an annual production that we put together, and there's all of the artistic direction and creative direction behind it is done by me with the other colleagues that I have, artist colleagues. And part of my projects is to create a cultural educational program for all ages, and then having an opportunity for collective work as well, expose artistic Nicaraguan value, that is artist exchange, and then a cultural rooted research that I could do, not just in the Nicaraguan culture, but also like in a wider vision within the Afro-Latin diaspora as well, because knowing the root of everything is very important. It's part of the intention of it. So sort of my projects in general. This is as far as I got with my presentation. How can I find support? That was the last thing, correct? That
you are doing an amazing job. Thank you for just jumping in and kicking booty. So the last two pieces are, how can we support you? And if you have any announcements of something that you're working on right now.
How can people support me? I think that the best way for community to show up is word of mouth. I think that during the pandemic, I started experiencing that since everything went virtual and we were only able to connect, that in those ways, as well as we went back to, and then there was a lot of means for currency. I started experiencing trading, exchange, and collaborating with other artists, and word of mouth was the fastest way to learn and find out about things, right? I am actually preparing to my most immediate projects is I am preparing to go back to my country after 12 years of not visiting. And I am doing this in a way to refine myself and redirect myself to my own identity. There's moments that I don't feel nor hear from nor there, and this is an opportunity to go and recreate and start new links and new connections with my own culture and my own people and my own grounds. In the near future too is continue to be able to go back and do and immerse myself into my own cultural vision to be able to provide it with an intention here.
Great.
I'm going to be running a GoFundMe, and I'm going to be doing some fundraisers. Maybe I'll tap it in the chat, like to give the information, because I don't have a flyer yet. But I'm going to be just providing some classes for everybody, any of the classes that are also in the Afro-Latin diaspora, bachata, salsa, merengue, even Nicaraguan dance, like any dances that if you want to move. And also we're going to have some food booths as well. We're going to have Nicaraguan food being sold. And it's going to be something very community-based, sort of like bring your own booth if you want. We connect a speaker, and then we just make community together.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm loving your work sample, and this is a great transition to the next part. Before we do that, though, I'd love for folks to have an opportunity to chime in. and you got a lot of love in the chat as well.
I just want to say, Diana, as also Anika, fellow Anika, I'm just so happy to see from everybody here, because I know there's a couple of us here, but just in your particular, just having such a unique and powerful perspective and experience of our culture, and utilizing it in a way that empowers not only people here in the States, but generations in the country, because we often forget that where we come from is just as important, if not so much important, in order to outreach and grant those spaces, you know, to remember the importance of where we come from. And just someone who had visited the country last year for research, it just makes me so happy that there's several of us doing all of that and doing something so unique, and I'm just so inspired by it.
Thank you so much, Dustin. Thank you. Thank you. It is definitely very fulfilling to find another fellow. And it's like, oh, cool. I know you. I know you without knowing you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Lovely. Any other?
I think the Bayview Opera House is looking for some more Afro-Latino cultural classes. I know that they're in a trend. I think they just transitioned out from a previous executive director, and now they're looking to like kind of hit some reset on a little bit of programming. You should probably try to connect with them to see if you could have the space to offer some classes in the southeast side of San Francisco.
Thank you. Thank you. I am actually in Oakland, and with this gas prices, bro, I'm like literally like limiting my commute. It's like it's more expensive to get to somewhere, and the work that you're doing, because you're constantly moving. I literally put eyes on my knees every day because I'm 36 now. It's not like I'm on my 20s anymore. But that is like another part of like the struggles as an artist, right? Like, especially if you're a mover, going from one place to another, like the money is in the city, sort of, so to speak, right? And then moving around and using your body, your voice, because I also teach youth as well in different schools. I'm teaching bachata to a lot of Asian kids in the middle of Chinatown right now. They know nothing of of Latin dances, but I have them shouting bachata. But thank you so much for that. I think being able to have these spaces and then folks to share this knowledge is beautiful. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to all the artists who presented tonight and everyone that has presented so far. Click, click, click. Anybody that's presenting next week, if you need any support, this is my favorite part. This and the opening circles are two of my favorite things that we do. So if you need any support putting your presentations together, you can reach out to me or Arturo. I actually have some extra capacity, so I'm totally down to help. If you want to practice beforehand, you know, whatever we can do to support you, we're here for it. So in these last few minutes of our time together, I want to talk about work samples. And what I'd love to have you do is there anybody who has a hard stop at 8:30? Can you stick around for at least 10 more minutes? Can everybody stick around for 10 minutes? Okay, great. So what I'd like for you to do is take the next 5 minutes to make a list of everything that could possibly be a work sample for your project. And I'm gonna send a stick for the monkeys to be distracted by. What you're gonna want to do, and Vince, I'm gonna share the bigger picture with you as folks are doing this. I'm dropping in the chat a ratings. So first, just really try to make a list of things that apply. But we definitely want you to make a list of everything, but make a list of things that you know for sure apply to with the project that you're doing. So if you were a fire dancer, you would probably not score something of you doing ballet as a 1. If you were wanting to get a fire dancing program funded. It might apply, it might be cool, but is it going to get you the grant? Probably not, because it's not, doesn't show anything to do with your fire dancing. So take the next 5 minutes. You can go off camera if you like, and we'll come back. And also in that time, if you finish early, you can start rating your stuff, but start with your ones for starters, because that will just send the monkeys going in an opposite direction. And Arturo, I see you raise your hand.
Yeah, just one quick precision. The list is for things that you can get pictures, videos for that we can turn into work samples, right?
Radu?
Sorry, yeah, I need a little more clarity on what work samples are, just videos and pictures. And
Sure. So work samples are, if for the case of this grant, work samples are going to be things that show that you have the experience doing the project that you're wanting to get funded. So it will be like it could be like one picture that shows you, like, I don't know, with a community piece, like let's just say you're wanting to do community outreach for kids. That's an element of the community impact of your project. What is the community impact of your project? Arturo, I'm sorry, Radu, what's the community impact so far?
Let me see what I've written. I mean, this is some of the stuff I'm struggling with because, yeah, it's a long story. I've been talking to Arturo about it a little bit, but mainly, I guess the community impact is really providing, music and art to the city. I just told a story to, I'm sorry, I forget your name, but I just told a story. Some of the reactions I get at the shows, it's usually thank you for, especially during the pandemic, thank you for doing this. You got me out of the house. You got me because, people are just dealing with depression and all this, all this stuff. And anyway, so that would be part of my community impact.
That's very perfect. That's very clear. So I'm going to just put something in the chat for you to kind of think.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Mobina and I were chatting about that. Okay, but thank you.
Okay, so Radu, you could, if you landed specifically on providing music and art to the city, it's like what you're up to. So you could have photos. Your work samples can be photos of you providing music, quotes from people, live footage. So like the Ukraine performance that you did last week with a fundraiser. You can get a small reel of that. You have lots of live footage.
Yeah, no, I know. That's a good point.
It just shows you bringing joy to the people.
Yeah, well, actually, the Ukraine benefit is actually a perfect example.
So is that helping when you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have some stuff.
Show people that I can provide music and art to the city. End of story. No stories around. That's what I'm up to.
That's right. That's right.
Photos,
That's right.
Show me some videos. Give me some quotes.
You're right.
It doesn't have to be a Pulitzer Prize. It's what you said you're going to do is provide music and art to the city. And I see some hands up. I'm going to, Radu, if you can put yours down. And I believe I saw Dustin's first, and then Maricel. Dustin?
Yeah. Just a quick question. I just wanted to know if this would work at all, and I'm trying to figure out what would be the best way. For one of the presentations that I wanted to put, perhaps, was just my my Kickstarter about our Kickstarter for the graphic novel on our story of Nicaragua. Would it be relevant to use the crowdfunding page or the video, or not utilize that at all of any relevancy? Because I feel like for me,
so the project is graphic novel what?
I'm sorry?
What's your project?
Oh, the project that just to show for the exemplification of the work is these are successfully our page for our crowdfund for the graphic novel.
Okay, so what are you saying you're going to use these funds for?
No. Excuse me. I might be misunderstanding the question, my own question. That I was wondering is that the kind of work example that we're discussing here, showcasing those type of things to show credibility for that, or?
Okay, so the reason I'm asking you is if that is related to your project, yes. If the graphic novel is related to your project, yes.
I would say. Okay, I need to think about this though. Never. Just give me.
You see why I'm asking?
I'm sorry?
You get why I'm asking? So if it's related to your project, then yes.
No, I'm wondering if that, I'm sorry, I have to think about this. I'm sorry, I didn't think this clearly. So I'll hold back my question for now.
Okay, that's great. So you're gonna think about it some more. Perfect. Okay, Maricel.
My project is giving sound therapy for like one of the demographics is veterans. And my question is a lot of the footage and photos that I have of me giving like sound therapy and sound bath and sound events is like just of me because, you know, I have to ask audience members if they're okay being photographed, and I usually don't want to even bring that up for them. So I'm wondering, does it look bad if like most of the footage and the photos I have of the stuff that I've done that are related to my project is like mainly just me in it? Does that make sense?
So I wouldn't say that it looks bad because you're giving sound, so that's half of it. Are you currently doing any kind of work with veterans?
No.
Do they know that you want to provide this service?
The veterans?
Like, are you working with an organization? What's your plan of connecting with the veterans?
I'm working with Arturo with that, but to like reach out to an organization or like a facility that works with veterans and their mental health.
Okay, so you don't need to necessarily even have to have real clients. You could have real roommates. You could have Arturo. You could have me, and you could do photos. You could do, you know, you could you're just demonstrating what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be plenty because what you're saying you're going to do is giving sound therapy, and so you need to just show that you can do that. Yeah. And then you know, as you are building the relationship with, you know, whichever point of entry you have for accessing and working and connecting with veterans, then you can add them to the narrative when you've figured out that access point. So I currently provide, you know, sound therapy for people who can afford it, how, you know, whatever the narrative is. I want to make it more accessible. And then, like, you know, you can show yourself giving folks some sound therapy.
So
that's like what you're doing. That's like very clearly legit, like 300 million% related to your project.
Yeah, so it's okay if the photos don't have people in them. It's like, you know, I'm up there doing my thing and there's someone that took like photos of that. That's fine.
You can have those, but you should also have, you can just get some volunteers. You can get a volunteer. You can give me a sound bath and film it. Or,
okay.
You know what, you can totally get a sample from a non-paying client.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So that brings me to, if you don't have a sample of you doing something, create one. Any other hands up before we bring everybody back?
Would the sample be different from the testimonial?
Yeah. So the are you talking about the letter of referral?
Yeah.
Yes. So a sample of the testimonial is basically Jesse does, you know, Speakeasy, Candlestick Park, Bayview, and other types of community facing events.
Right.
So if that's what you want to get funded, then that's what you want your work samples to reflect. Okay. And you can really simplify it by just like creating a space at all is well and giving it a number. So it applies, kind of applies. it's a cool project, but it doesn't apply. It's a stretch, it doesn't apply.
Okay.
If you can figure out a way, if you can figure out a way to make it applicable, then you can do that. And Arturo, I'm still going. So everybody's had a moment to create a list. And really what we're wanting to do is give you an opportunity to have clarity of what the work samples are that you're going to use. We just want to give you an opportunity to just create some clarity. And this numbering system doesn't make any experiences less or more. It's just what's going to support you and showing that you can do the thing that you said you're going to do. The beautiful thing is if you don't have any samples, you can make some samples. Arturo and I can both support you and coming up with ways to make samples. I know this is one of Arturo's favorite things, is the work sample. And my favorite thing is the work sample as a storytelling piece. So basically what we'd love for you to do is just take these next few minutes and go to your work samples and make a list of the work samples that you can get and put them inside of your grant application in these last few minutes that we're together. So I have a quote from Arturo, which is, "How is the wood fueling the fire of your narrative?" So as you are doing that, think about that. How is it fueling the fire of your narrative? And if you have collaborators, just make it clear that you have collaborators. Okay, any more questions? So this would be a great, thank you, Alejandra, and I believe Vince had to roll too. This would be a great moment for, as we're kind of closing out here, this would be a great moment for folks to just come off chat or come off mute, and we're going to just close and say and find out which coaching tools you've used so far, and what are some small sweet steps you're going to take this week. And I'm also going to put the questions in the chat. I know we've covered a lot today, so I'm going to just let you know that the homework is also going to be put in the chat, and it will also go out in the post-game notes. And I just want to thank everybody who was able to stay, and thank the artists who presented, and thanks for everyone for everything you've contributed so far to your cohort. So I'd like to get just one soundbite from each of you. You can answer both or one of the other two questions. What coaching tools have you used so far, and what are some small steps you're going to take this week? Because of time, if I don't get any volunteers, I'm gonna do the round robin and just a minute or two. It's really just to support your fellow cohort members. And also wanted to remind you that we have co-working coming up this Thursday, and there will be an invite that goes out with the link, and it's going to be from 6 to 8 this Thursday. So I wanted to give extra time to the presenters, so I'm condensing everything I was going to do into a shorter period of time. But they'll be recording, and you can also ask questions if you have any. Radu, did you have a question?
Yeah, real quick. I was writing as you were talking. What did you say is going on? Is it the like the little workshop that you guys were doing?
This Thursday we're going to be co-working.
Right. All right. And when is that?
That's going to be this Thursday from 6 to 8. And if you could just drop it in the chat if you plan on coming, that would be great.
Cool. Thank you.
So Jesse, what are some is there any small sweet steps you want to share with us or coaching tools you'll be using? And Arturo, can you just take stack of who will be there?
Sure. I've been super appreciative of everyone here that's been able to that I've been able to kind of link with and just kind of catch up with. Definitely, Joe has been a huge pillar for me to help me out, to being able to check in with him and just kind of checking in with each other, just making sure that we're holding each other accountable. So I definitely want to appreciate that, and one of the tools that I've been using. I think what's been like before this whole process began, like I was really struggling with time management, and I've like little by little I've been kind of figuring my things out, blocking things off, moving things around, making things happen, and now I feel like me being in a better time management position where I can kind of do things is really helping me out. So that's where I'm at right now. I am trying to plan some stuff with Joe. I've been like kind of chatting with him on the side to start doing some of the footage of Candlestick. I want to do some like drone shots of the park and how it looks, so at least people can have that look and kind of go from there.
Awesome. Joe, that seems like a good transition to you. What have you been getting?
Dang, gotta drop that name, huh?
Inside cat,
I'm ready. I'm ready. Stay ready, so you don't have to get ready. My coaching has definitely trying to stick with the do it now idea when things come up or things arise. As you're telling us to write it right now, do it right now. Like I've been trying to practice that. Most importantly, the do it right now for me has to do with mostly put it in the calendar, because I talk to so many people and I go to so many places. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll be there. Oh man. And I'm trying to do it all, but I forget to put it in the calendar. Yeah, bro. 2022 is different, man. So that is really helpful. Also making the time, like once I got the calendar in my hand, carving out time. Okay, this is where I'm going to work. This is the time I need to block out so I can sit my ass in front of the computer and just type and write. But I think that's the hardest part, is just getting to the computer and getting started. Like that's the toughest part for me. Once I get there, then I get the juices flowing. And what I get from this cohort and this group is definitely, like Jesse said, the check-ins, the motivation. Marizel's really inspiring, and her just diligence as an artist to just be everywhere. So I really vibe on Marizel. His energy and her artistic just exudes. Like she's just trying to be in the city. Like let's put art everywhere. So I take her tenacity. That's the word I want to use. Her tenacity, and I want to apply it in my artwork and my writing specifically. So those are the two things.
Awesome. Nefertiti.
Hello. Some coaching that I'm going to take with me. There's so much. I'm already applying so much. I think I echo Jesse in terms of just developing a better practice for just the time you make for something. So you just block out the time, give it that time to focus. But I think beyond that, it's, I don't know. I think there's a lot around taking yourself out of what you do. And so continuing to have that kind of bird's eye view. Okay, what is it that I do? And why is it important for me again? So having that constant check-in of like, why is this important? Why is this important? I mean, I think it's always changing too. So making space for the dynamic shifts of your practice and its impact on yourself and other people. So I guess just having like a more dynamic perspective versus a static one, which has been really great because I think we're also looking back a lot, like what has been my experience, and also just having an eye towards what we've done. That's also shifting. So just being really aware of the room that we allow ourselves for like the shift in our perspective of what we do. And also having the sort of like, now I feel like we're getting into a flow of being able to be playful in a way almost with how it is we frame what we do and being playful with what we imagine possible. So that's kind of like my whole, like what I started thinking and where I am now in terms of what I want to actually do. It's like totally evolving into something beyond what I imagined. And now it's in this exciting phase of like, oh, actually it can be actually about this. And so that's been great. And yeah, I just wandered in my conversation, but I hope that was helpful for people.
Thank you. Radu.
Yes. Well, some of the coaching tools, God, there are so many. I think one of the biggest ones that I'm still I use every day, and more than just this, is the whole getting out of the way, the monkey mind. The one session where I was in the hot seat, it really did blow something open for me. And since then, Arturo has been steadily kind of, reinforcing all that, especially with my hemming and hawing about my grant project, but my grant focus. But that's probably the big one that I'm taking away, that I have taken away from this workshop so far. And as far as small steps, I mean, I've been really busy and dealing with my monkey mind with this project, and I'm just gonna it's not a small step, but I'm gonna really focus and devote some time on fleshing out some of the insights I've had in the chat here today. Some people have given me some good ideas. The ideas Arturo gives me, basically on a weekly basis. And I'm just going to sit down and just hammer some of that stuff out and see if I can get more juices flowing. It looks like Nefertiti's juices are really flowing, and that's I want to get to that. But that's a function of me actually like doing more work and getting more behind this stuff. So that's the plan this week.
Awesome. I recommend chatting up Nefertiti for collaboration as well as a coffee.
Cool. Sounds good.
Bisma.
Sweet. Well, I think coaching tools I've used so far. I'm really grateful for our one-on-one coaching sessions, Arturo. I feel like a lot of my discombobulated thoughts and fears end up becoming resolved in those times, and like practicing lifting the fog. And all of those things have been so useful in planning out my week and getting me to even feel confident to feel like I can be in these spaces. And related to that, I think I touched on it with Jesse too, of just recognizing the cultural value of my work has been very eye-opening through this experience. And some small steps for me, I'm gonna connect with Jesse and we're gonna schedule some time to talk. I'm also gonna connect with my partner Alethea again, and seeing if we can try to get that check-in and setting the arena in the weeks past the grant class as well. And yeah, so it's exciting to see so many like vibrant voices and ideas like flowing in this space, and to know that they're going to have homes even after the call makes me really happy.
Yes. Woo! Maricel, and then Robina.
I think I'm also like everyone about like the monkey mind is like that lesson was really helpful, and I feel like at least once every 2 days I'm like, oh, I'm noticing my monkey mind being like, oh, you don't have enough time, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough resources. And just like, it's just so nice that we had that lesson, because I see it happening a lot for myself. And I started noticing, like, you know, what comes out of our mouths is vibration, it's energy. And so for me to say out loud to someone like, I can't do this because of this, I'm like way more scared of saying that and more cautious of it, because like I don't want to program my mind, and I don't want to program out in the universe that that's how I feel, and like that's the attitude I have. So that lesson has been really awesome, and I think about it every day, and like I'm noticing, and it's really working. And there's one time I just felt so overwhelmed, and like Arturo was being such a great human being, like he always is about it, and like really held space and like helped me structure just prioritizing my projects and things that I'm doing, and like taking it on like day by day, and like prioritizing like, oh, this thing's important this week, so I'm going to do it this week, but then this thing isn't important until 2 weeks from now, so maybe I can worry about it later and just focus on this thing. And that's been super life-changing too. And I totally forgot, like a couple years ago I wanted to give yoga to veterans, and like a couple years ago I got my teacher training. And so like it's just like really beautiful how it circles around that, like I've always wanted to work with veterans, and I'm just now realizing like, oh, I've always had this idea. I even have like, I was scraping up like research I was doing for veterans for yoga a couple years ago, and I'm like, this is like such a beautiful thing that you guys are hosting. So like, thank you everyone for being here for each other, and thank you for the hosts for sure that are like hosting the space so we could just get our ideas out there and like help our communities.
Amazing. Mobina.
Yes, yeah, I'm also very grateful to be in this space and feeling the energy of everyone. I feel like I'm not alone, and like because we are sometimes as artists like have this isolation and living in our monkey mind. So that kind of helped me to realize, okay, there are like so many people with the same vision I have, and it's it's good to just connect and collaborate, or like even just encourage them or being encouraged. I think it's very important. And in terms of coaching, my session with you, Tris, was like very kind of useful and helpful to makes me kind of focus still. I'm in monkey mind to just decide which kind of project, that because I have so many projects that I want to put in this application, and I keep changing. But in terms of like, understanding myself through the practice you gave me, and, first of all, know who I am, then pursue what project is just, more in line with that, is something that coaching and your coaching brought to me. And also like checking in with Justin like every once a week, just really helpful, because we both are in the same like page sometimes, and with some sort of disappointment, and then when we talk, we just kind of generate some ideas, and then we motivate each other to do more. And that's very helpful too. Yeah, I'm so glad being in this class and knowing each of you, and for better vision for the future.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm totally looking forward to when we get to do this in person. And I want to thank Joe, out of the gate for offering up his space, I believe. And just want to, say our tutor and I are the main drivers of the bus, and we have a caravan. We're not supposed to just do this, bus driving on 24-hour shifts. We want to support other people in supporting. So if you want to be on the planning committee for our gathering, we also have a program we're launching called Art Ambassadors, where you basically just help plan bi-monthly events with artists and get some perks of, getting the behind the scenes part of space holding for these kinds of projects. Just let us know in your coaching session. I know that Nefertiti and Arturo are going to hang out for a while to do some business. That just really, really happy to be here with y'all. And Joe, one administrative note, we're scheduled for our coach assessing the same time that we're co-working on Thursday. So why don't you hit me with some times, shoot me a text with some times that work for you, and then I'll see if they work for me. So thank you all for just being so awesome. And we could be here all day, all night, sipping on artist juice, laid back.
I love it. I love it.
So thank you so much. And I have to bounce, but really, really, really just appreciate all of your contribution. And the collaboration is so authentic just by gathering. It's rad.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Gracias.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Yes.
Buenas
Thank you.
noches.
Good night.
Adios,
Bye.
Molina.
Adios.
Bye.
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 Bye, everybody.